Welcome to Beyond Hormones, the Business of Wellness, the podcast for hormone and functional medicine providers who want a thriving, predictably profitable practice and maybe a little less stress along the way. Hi, I'm your host, Jody Lane, and I've worked with lots of clinics in marketing, sales, and business development, and I have seen what works and what doesn't. And here's what I believe. Hormone and wellness care should be available to everyone who wants it. And while providers know the medicine, many struggle with the business side of their cash practice. And that's where I come in. See, this podcast is here to share real strategies, real stories, things you can implement in your practice right away. So I am so glad you're here. Come on, let's go. Now, before we jump into today's Fiverr, I do want to tell you about this series that these episodes are a part of. Now, for the next couple of months and for the last month or so, our Thursday episodes have been a part of the Clinic Accelerator series, where we share short, practical strategies pulled directly from the courses inside AMP's Accelerator, which is a training platform for hormone and wellness clinic owners. Now, everything we teach inside the Accelerator is built around our power framework. That's positioning, operations, workforce, experience, and revenue. The 5 areas that determine whether a clinic struggles or becomes predictably profitable. All right, are you ready? We're going to jump into today's idea. So here you are. You're back on Beyond Hormones, the Business of Wellness. Thank you for being here. I am Jody, and today we're getting into another one of my favorite growth strategies for hormone and functional medicine clinics. And I say favorite because I have lived this. I have watched it work firsthand at my own clinic in Orlando. And honestly, it made running a practice so much more fun. And I do love a good event. So when we talk about clinic events, and before you immediately think to yourself, I don't have time for that, Jody, I am busy, I want you to hang with me, because I'm not talking about renting a ballroom or running a giant production. I mean simple, strategic, in-person experiences that you host for your community. And when you do them right, it actually builds more trust in one evening than 6 months of social media posts ever could. And it's also great for culture because staff love these things. All right, so I've got 2 real stories from my clinics to share with you today. And I promise by the end of this episode, you are going to be pulling out your calendar because you're going to want to copy these things. Let me start with a story about what happens when you go all in once and then let the system do the work for you all year long. Sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So you see, back at my clinic around October, I can't remember, I think it was 2018, I sat down and I made a list of wellness adjacent professionals in my community. Not other hormone providers, but I mean like an acupuncturist. We had an IV therapy clinic owner. We had a functional lab rep. People that were doing complementary things to what we were doing, but not competitive. I then reached out to all of them and I scheduled a full year's worth of presentations to those that took me up on my offer. 1 speaker every 3rd Thursday of the month for 12 months straight, right in my own clinic, and we called it Wellness Matters. Now, here's what I loved about this entire project, because all the planning happened up front. In that one big focused sprint in the fall, execution throughout the year was almost effortless, except for showing up and having a good time. We printed 1 poster, we listed every speaker and the dates they were going to be there, hung it in the office, and patients could see the whole calendar at a glance. The work was done, we just showed up. We sent some emails, we obviously made some social posts, but all the real work was behind us. Now here's what I did not see coming. Every one of those speakers, they promoted themselves to their own audiences. And as they promoted, new people signed up, got into our list, and then we would invite those same people to the next month's event. It grew exponentially. And most of that growth happened because of other people's marketing, not ours. And that was really cool. Now, we ran Wellness Matters for 3 years. Unfortunately, year 3 was 2020, so I guess we did start in 2017, and we had to move it online, and it just didn't have the same energy. But the lessons stand. If you put in the hours once at the beginning, build the system, you can sustain a monthly event in your clinic time and again without having to work as hard as you think. Now, let's dive into my second story, and this one's about unexpected outcomes. Pretty early on in my clinic days, we decided to host a holiday party. We called it a patient appreciation party, which, let's be honest, sounded a little more intentional than holiday party. We invited a bunch of vendor partners, the compound pharmacies we worked with, the supplement companies we worked with, the pellet company we got our pellets from, and everyone set up a table around this clubhouse space that we had rented, which happened to be the apartment complex of one of our staff. And here's the fun part. Every patient who walked in got a little passport, and they got a gift if they went to every table and got that passport stamped, which meant they had to visit every vendor. Genius, right? Well, it got people moving, it got them talking, and it got them learning. What I didn't expect, because it was a holiday party, patients brought their friends, their family. We didn't ask them to, they just did. And we walked away with a couple of new initial consults that night because, of course, we had a table too. But the outcome that surprised me most wasn't the few consults, that was cool, but it was the supplement sales we got in the weeks that followed. We noticed that they went up, and I traced it all back to the conversation that was having at one table. Our then Zymogen rep, Joelle Daniel, had spent the evening explaining exactly how their supplements were made, how they were formulated to stack for specific results, and why they were doctor prescribed, and how that meant that they were the highest quality. That education gave our patients the confidence, and the confidence translated to sales. Now, that event wasn't just a party. It was a trust builder, and the ROI showed up, and I didn't even plan for it. So what do these two stories have in common, and what does it mean for you? Well, whether you're doing a one-time holiday party or a 12-month speaker series, the framework underneath is the same. And there are 5 things that you need to get right to get the most out of an event for the clinic. The first is you want to pick a format that fits your brand. Not every clinic needs a Wellness Matters. Maybe yours needs a Hormones and Happy Hour or a Yoga and Wellness Night. The format just needs to feel authentic to you and like something people would actually show up for. Second, you want to choose a topic that creates urgency. Like Women's Wellness Night is forgettable, but the 3 hidden reasons you're tired, stressed, and gaining weight that your doctor is missing gets texted to their friends. Now, third, build your communication flow before you launch. You want to collect names, email, and sell at the RSVP. Confirm immediately. Remind at least 1 week, 2 or 3 days beforehand, and the morning of. That sequence alone will dramatically improve your show rate, and you want to build it someplace that you can automate it in a CRM system. Fourth, create an experience worth talking about. Warm welcomes, great snacks, music in the background, a short engaging talk with real stories, and make it easy. There's no pushy sales. You just want people to be informed, and those that want to will book a consult before they leave. And then 5, don't skip the follow-up. Most people won't book that night of the event because they're there to enjoy themselves. But if you follow up a couple of days later, maybe even a week or so, you'll start to see people that came, thought about it, and then eventually came back to schedule. Now, here's the big picture. Every event you host gives you content, testimonials, word of mouth referrals, and a growing list of future patients who already trust you before they ever walk through the door for a consult. It's a marketing multiplier, and it's one of the most underused strategies in this space. So if you don't get a whole bunch of sales the night of the event, don't fret. Just make sure that you think about this event as a lead generator, as a patient appreciation and retention tool, and do the follow-up. Now, all of this, the communication templates, the calendar, the strategy, it all lives inside of the course, Clinic Events That Convert, inside the Accelerator, which you can find at accelerator.acceleratedmedicalpractices.com. And if you want to check it out, you can go over there right now and create a free account. Now, when you sign up, you'll find a few free courses waiting for you. And this one, the Clinic Events, happens to be one of those free courses. So there's no reason for you not to go over there and watch it. From there, you can purchase individual trainings if you see something specific you want to learn, or if you see lots of things, just go ahead and buy the Power Pass. It's only $99 a month. There's no commitment. You get access to everything in the Accelerator, and when you've consumed it all, just cancel. All right, one thing before we wrap up. You know, the hormone and wellness industry is a community. We all learn from each other. And so if you heard something in this podcast that got you thinking, maybe somebody else that you know could benefit from it, do me a favor. Go ahead and share it with them. It could be just the thing they need to make their goals this month. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. And until next Thursday, go plan something worth showing up for. See you then. Thank you for listening to Beyond Hormones, the business of wellness. I hope that you're walking away with fresh ideas and real strategies you can use to grow your practice with profit and purpose. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the show so you never miss a conversation. And if something you heard today resonated with you, do me a favor, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. It's one of the best ways you can support the show, and it might be exactly what they need to hear right now. If you want even more tools and support, go ahead and head over to acceleratedmedicalpractices.com. Until next time, keep doing the work that matters. Your patients need you, and I am cheering you along every step of the way.